Hello, I'm Flapjack. Welcome to a quick overview of Super Solver's Mission Think. The game is currently available through Classic Reload. I have been looking into how to get it running in DOSBox such that you don't need to rely on Classic Reload to be up, nor do you need internet access to run the game, but up till now I haven't had any success in getting Windows 3.1 configured to let the game run. So for now, we will look at the game through Classic Reload. It is a later addition to the Super Solvers games and draws very heavily from Gizmos and Gadgets, copies a lot of the gameplay mechanic and the navigation mechanic, which I'll talk about as we go through this. Let's start the game up so you can see what's going on. It's about 75 megs, which includes Windows 3.1, as you can see. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Okay. So let's take a look.
To sign in, type your name.
Obviously. So let's. Okay. Just like with Gizmos and Gadgets, you have the option to play with or without metal minions. They are exactly the same as chimps. They just serve to add an additional obstacle during gameplay. I'm not going to have them on for mine.
Rusty.
And we're going to skip this cutscene. Okay. Very much like Gizmos and Gadgets, there are 5 tiers to the game
Click
factory.
on the factory.
Okay. And I'm also going to turn off new player hints so that I can keep talking. Very much like Gizmos and Gadgets, you have 5 tiers, starting with the easiest, and it gets progressively more difficult to obviously beat the game. Unlike Gizmos and Gadgets, there are not 3 sections of 5, but just in this one is just 3. So this is a shorter game in practice. So let me full screen this bad boy. Okay, it doesn't full screen. Never mind.
So, you're ready
More
to
cutscene.
challenge me?
We're going to skip it. This is the end of each area. So you need to collect enough strategy pieces to defeat Morty at this strategy game. Each level has more, as the game progresses, each of these strategy boards becomes more complex with more options for movement. This one only has 2 options for movement through the trees and over land. There will be rocks, there will be water, so additional movement options, and of course you can lay traps and inhibit Morty's movement. So you need to assemble the pieces in order to cross this strategy board quicker than Morty. So my understanding, having played this game so far, is this: there is an optimal route which requires very specific pieces to beat this board and Morty quickly. By that I mean there are probably a very specific few pieces, and I'll use pieces to refer to each strategy move as a piece that you could collect. So you will collect move forward 2, move forward 1, move diagonal 1, a compass to move through the trees, a shovel to dig a pit, a board to cross the pit if one is in front of you. All of these are strategy pieces, and you pick them up out in the factory. There are a specific few pieces that are likely to result in the fastest possible beating of this game and reliable defeating of Morty. That is extremely likely. However, that relies on the RNG of picking up those specific pieces out in the game factory. Whether this can be abused, like Odd Tom has found with gizmos and gadgets, and being able to predictively show what high quality pieces were where, especially since we have no access to the back end of this thing. I have requested Classic Reload to release their image that allows this game to run so that we can peel it apart in DOSBox, but so far they have not responded. However, be that as it may, let's go out into the factory. Let's see if we can beat this first stage, and we'll go over some of the pieces that I find. Again, the gameplay is very similar to Gizmos and Gadgets, so this will seem very familiar. Doors, just like
Use the
Gizmos and
puck
Gadgets.
to knock the ball into the hole.
All right, so we already know.
Build a car that follows the rule on the elevator to reach the checkered
Self-explanatory.
flag. Build a car.
Very self-explanatory. Solve the puzzle. Obviously, at this early stage, this is a one-screen bit of the factory. Again, self-explanatory.
Use the puck to knock the ball into the hole. Use the white pieces to build and line up.
More self-explanatory stuff. In case you don't understand the way this works, it wants you to build all three perspectives. That's the way that that puzzle works. Mouse control is, for whatever reason, really sketchy, and I don't know why. It might just be Classic Reload's job of doing it. I'm not really certain why it's as bad as it is.
Build a car that follows...
That's all about just pick the stuff as fast as you can. Alright, we'll quickly take care of these last few over here, and then we'll leave. Show off a few more doors.
Put each object
okay, here we go.
into the correct circle.
Venn diagrams. Very simple.
Put...
I thought I clicked that.
Build a car that
All
can
right.
use the elevators and get to the...
Again, very straightforward. Follow the prompts on the elevators to get to the destination. As difficulty increases, you will see elevators that you want to avoid, so you have to do what they don't, to not do what they say, to avoid those elevators. That is the progression of this particular puzzle. Alright, there we go. We have 2 compasses. We'll quickly go through this door here and we'll leave. We likely have everything we need to beat Morty.
Put each object into the correct circle.
Okay, now we're back at the strategy board with all our pieces. As you can see, we've got a lot to pick from here. So, obviously, this is going to involve testing out different strategies. From what I can gather, Morty's RNG is weighted. It's weighted RNG, meaning that in this early stage, he will not take too many steps to prevent you from beating him. In later stages, his AI will start to block your moves. So you might have to have more than one strategy in order to beat him. However, for this particular one, I think you only need 2 compasses, maybe 1 compass and a forward 2 and an over 3 this way. We do have that. So let's put our guy here to start with. Compasses let you go through trees, so he's likely going to do something similar. He didn't. Okay. So we're going to use our first compass, and we're going to traverse 2 spots. He's going to move forward 2. Okay. We're going to move forward 2. Sorry, I was looking at that to see if there was a more optimal solution. And there you go. 4 moves and we're done. That's one stage.
Was I a bit more of a challenge than you expected, Mr. Maxwell?
Yes. I may need to make this game harder for you.
Each level
You
is simply
weren't
a
super-
progression of that mechanic. As you can see, the first flag is turned blue. We have the first few pieces on the board. That is how that works. Each stage is progressively more complex. The door puzzles become a little bit harder to solve. And the strategy game at the end of each section is Morty's AI gets harder, and you need more pieces to be able to one-shot the strategy game in case of Morty's RNG attempting to obstruct you. So major time losses would be not having a piece to counter a move that Morty makes. That would be, I think, if we could design the specific pieces for each stage that will allow you to beat the strategy game first time every time, regardless of Morty's actions, that would be one thing. However, I don't believe the game allows that. I believe Morty's AI is truly RNG, and he might take steps to prevent you one time that he doesn't the next. So you can see this one has added in the mountains. Mountains are traversable only with a pickaxe. Later ones will add rivers with water, which are only traversable with a boat. The movement rules are all in this little notepad, which opened the help book. If you're interested in running this game, review this piece. If you want to know more about all the strategy pieces, it's all right here. But that's all I have for you for Super Solver's Mission Think. Like I said, it's sufficiently different to Gizmos and Gadgets to make it interesting, wherein you're not guaranteed a win after you get X number of parts as in Gizmos and Gadgets because of Morty's AI. You may get screwed, and so you have to have, in order to have a guaranteed time every time, you will have to either you'll have to take a chance on Morty's RNG, or you'll have to collect enough pieces such that you can counter Morty's strategy if he makes a move that he hasn't made for you before. If you have any questions, hit us up in the Super Solvers Discord, and have fun running this game if you choose to do so. Thanks.